Hey there, welcome back to the table. This is going to be a very quick video. It's an errata video. Um, I had a long talk with Dean about this game, and I basically have to scrap the campaign that I'm playing. I know I was contemplating doing it anyways, but I am for sure going to do it now. So I already made an errata video regarding this game. I'm going to really quickly recap those. First one was the sensor performance. So when you're using these cards, the thermal layers get ignored if you have a toad array, and you use, of course, these numbers, and you ignore the range that's written on the card. So, for example, this says for detecting subs, it's a range 1 through 4, and then the range 1 through 6 over here. This is also range 1 through 6. And because the Doyle has a toad array, that TA there, they use these numbers along the bottom. And so for range 6, they would get a -2, and they ignore this thermal layer. Now, if they don't have toad array, then they use the top, and they would add the thermal layer if the sub is deep. Now, the sub has the same penalty, so if they're deep, they use the thermal layer, and then they use whatever's on their card in terms of range. Now, if you're using the active sonar, which is red, you would use the range that's still on the card. That doesn't apply here. So that I know was addressed in a previous errata video. Just wanted to make sure I covered that one more time. Another major mistake that we covered was when you have an enemy ship, and I'm just going to use this to represent the enemy ship, and it detects you. I was playing that as soon as this ship detected one of us, all the ships was able to attack, as long as it was the next turn, because I misunderstood the flowchart. When it's the next combat turn, so basically, if a ship detects you and it's level 2 or better, they will also attack you on that exact same turn. Otherwise, it won't attack you until it's the next battle turn. So when you go from one battle turn to the next, any ship that has previously detected you will attack you when it's their turn again. Now, the mistake that I was making in my playthrough was all the other ships that are out there, I was assuming that they were able to detect you as well, but that's not the true. You have to pass a command and control check for every other ship, even if it is the next battle turn. Like, I was doing that correctly if it was the same battle turn, because that's what I thought command and control meant. And then as soon as we went to the next battle turn, I just assumed that everybody now had detection. That's not the case. So this one ship that detected you is still the only ship that detected you. And these other ones can fire on you if they have command and control and they pass it. Otherwise, if they fail it, then they're going to try their own detect opportunity. This should not be new to any of you guys. This is stuff that was already covered, but I'm doing this for the purposes of thoroughness of the playthrough. Now, the last thing I talked with Dean about is that the random encounters, and we're talking about when you're on the map here and you encounter an enemy task force, like let's say your mission is all the way here, and you move into this spot and you encounter a random encounter from here. I was giving out experience points for successfully winning the encounter, and according to Dean, that's not his intent. And so all of our levels, warrior level ships would not be warrior level. We would have quite a few less experience points, and I don't know how to retcon that or fix it. And then more importantly, our commander would not have reached warrior level quite as quickly either. So that completely, from my perspective, ruins the playthrough. It needs to start over if it's going to do anything. And so that brings me to, like, what am I going to do next? I don't know. Like, I've been planning to do the carrier. In fact, I've been contacting Dean quite a lot. I've been reading the rules. It's the week after Thanksgiving right now, and the biggest thing that I can tell you it's impacting me is that I'm just I'm dealing with family stuff, and I don't have that large of a family, but whatever little family I do have, we're spending time together. I am doing a lot of multiplayer gaming. You can see I got Heat in Brazil up here. So we're there. I am getting some gaming in. It's just not solitaire gaming. How about that? This is sort of the time for that. I also host a yearly party that's actually open to the world It's a week long, and it's 24 hours a day for 7 days, where we do nothing but board games, and it's called Genghis Khan, and that's coming up too. So we're going to be doing a lot of gaming pretty soon, and there's a good chance the ISS Vanguard's going to hit the table again. But like as far as this game goes, I'm not done with it. I did detect a lot of errors though in the rulebook, specifically with the carrier missions, which we haven't even begun to discuss. One of the first things I can tell you is that the carrier campaigns let you start with 2 aircraft carriers. Like, in fact, you get them for free. Here, let me show you. I gotta reach across the table here. So this one, you start with 100 SO points plus 2 green carriers. So I asked them, well, what if I take both carriers with me on a mission? How does one act? Can I have one of them be like a cap? And can their cap protect both carriers? Because that's the thing, is you're launching cap, and there's a lot of carrier actions that you get to do, which I know we haven't discussed yet, but the 2 carriers thing was confusing me. And so Dean clarified that he never intended for us to take 2 carriers on one mission. He thought that we would ever only take 1 carrier on a mission, go destroy the target, and then that carrier would refit and refuel, and then the other carrier would go do the next mission. So he had to come up with a whole new set of rules for what would happen if you had 2 carriers on the same mission. And so that was the first thing that I found that caused issues. The second one was he didn't address how stress and experience points gets delivered out when you're dealing with carriers who aren't in this zone or this zone, because carriers are required to be here. It's not in the rulebook at all if you take a look. And it does make sense, and he agreed with my suggestion that the carrier should be treated like it's no different than this. But he did have some thought he wanted to put into it. So I guess the best way to summarize my conversation with Dean, it was a short one. It's not like he spends a lot of time chatting with me. First of all, he's very sorry, because between my video playthrough and my questions, and I guess Board Game Geek and the other people that are playing, there's definitely a lot of I can't sugarcoat this. There's just a lot of errors in the rulebook, and so from that perspective, he is well aware, and he's sorry. Like, he apologized to me. I told him, look, I don't need you to apologize. I'm fine with it. I just want to know, like, how am I supposed to play it, and what is the right thing to do? Because we can make an FAQ. We can get this right, And as far as I understand, I think he just recently released a second edition of the rulebook, at least in PDF form, where all the changes are in blue. And I got to get my hands on that, because I don't have that in front of me at the moment. But I'm definitely going to need it. And so, to answer the question of what's coming next, I'm sort of in paralysis, because Dean keeps discovering things and changing things, and I don't know how to do a playthrough right now when you have a moving target. It is a moving target, and I'm sorry, Dean, and I know he understands, because that's why he was apologizing to me, because he's realizing that it's really difficult to make a video when you have a moving target. But it is a moving target, and I don't know how to, because I know my channel's not that popular, but I think when it comes to DVG leader games, it is popular, because I'm one of the few people who actually covers them. And I know there's a few others that try to, but again, they come out with their videos 3 years after the game's been made, and nobody needs it anymore. I'm trying to come out with my videos now, when people are trying to learn the game. And I'm also trying to learn the game, and that's part of the problem. And I think I have enough to play, because now that Dean has talked with me a few times, and we got most of it sorted out, I really think I have enough to play. My next problem is I don't have the time, because of the holidays. So, but anyways, to answer your question, it is going to be a carrier campaign when I come back. I don't want to do a regular Task Force base game anymore. This Errata video is going to count towards wrapping that one up. I did want to do this mission that we were going to start. That was my original intent. But now that I found out that I got experience points that I wasn't supposed to get and all that stuff, I don't know how to fix that. But this table is going to get completely cleared. I am hosting games this weekend, and so the game's going to be put away. And the last thing I want to do right now is to get another campaign started. I did have our cards set aside, so if I did start the carrier campaign, I was going to make sure it was on the Pacific side. I think it was actually going to be this exact mission that I had selected. And so that way the Atlantic ships can all be put in like a box by itself, so I could always pull out the Atlantic ships to continue this Atlantic campaign. That is the one cool thing about this, is as long as you make sure your ships are in different theaters, you can have multiple campaigns going on at once, I guess. But anyways, I know this was a very long-winded errata. It wasn't fully an errata video. It's also closure for you guys. I am going to be closing this up. The game is going to get cleaned up, which I know puts it at risk that it's going to be gone for a while. I don't have a, quote, next game in mind, other than I know I'm doing a lot of, there's going to be people, like actual real human beings here. And so we're going to be playing, and my son wants to continue our Stars of Icarios campaign, and Stars of Icarios is literally right underneath this. This lifts up. So this whole table lifts up, and there's another board game set up underneath here. And so, like I said, a lot of stuff is happening. He's coming home from college. He's going to be home for like almost a full month. It's just going to be really hard to get some solitaire gaming going. I do have some computer games that I've been playing. One's called Railroad Corporation. Another one is Victoria 3. I am putting significant hours in those. I know you might think, well, why aren't you just playing board games? Sometimes it's just, those are easier to do because they're on my laptop. I can definitely pop up a video sometime and show you guys those games. My video game playthroughs aren't as well received as the board game ones, but I'm always more than happy to show because I actually think video games are still quite fun. But anyways, that's it. I know that was a very long message, but it's a great game. I don't want you to get the wrong impression, but it is, the rules are being refined, and I think Dean literally just yesterday came up with a new set of rules. So if you are watching this, go get that second set of rules. He said he put in blue text anything that changed from the original set of rules, and I think we all need to study them and make sure that, what else are we missing, what else are we getting wrong, because that's definitely going to be important. Anyways, thank you as always, and stay healthy and safe, and happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas.